Today, Edinburgh looks like a city from a storybook, but it hasn't always been this way. 300 years ago, this was one of the most dangerous cities in Europe. You look up. 10 stories above you, a window opens. Someone screams, "GARDYLOO!" You don't know what it means yet. 3 seconds later, a bucket of waste explodes onto the cobblestones, just a few feet from your boots. Welcome to Edinburgh in the 18th century. A city with the tallest buildings in Europe, some of the brightest minds in history, and a sanitation system based entirely on gravity and hope. This is the Athens of the North, where philosophers debate reason and morality while carefully stepping around human filth. Let's take a walk, down streets you can still walk today. This is the Royal Mile, the same spine that still runs from Edinburgh Castle down to Holyrood Palace today. These buildings are called lands, tenements so tall they feel impossible. 10, 11, sometimes 14 stories high. In 1750, most cities spread outward. Edinburgh can't. The city is trapped on a narrow volcanic ridge with cliffs dropping away on both sides. No suburbs, no escape. This is a vertical society. On the 3rd floor, a lawyer washes his hands in a porcelain basin. Above him, a merchant counts coins by candlelight. Below him, the street smells like rot. The wealthy live in the middle, high enough to avoid the worst of the sewage, low enough to avoid the endless stairs. At the top, families crowd into dark attics. The rent is cheap, the climb is brutal. And that warning shout, "GARDYLOO," comes from the French "GARDYLOO." Watch out for the water. It is never water. Everyone shares the same narrow staircase. Judges, wigmakers, fishmongers, labourers, different lives, same stairs, same smell. You step into the Lawn Market. This exact stretch of street still exists. Tourists walk it every day, unaware they're standing on centuries of noise, trade and rot. Someone bumps your shoulder, a cart rattles past your knees, a woman shoves an oyster into your hand before you can refuse. This is chaos, loud, filthy, alive. Fishwives from New Haven scream over each other, "Call a herring!" while by Macaularoo. Fresh oysters are cheap, fast food of the 1700s, a dozen for 2 pence. Butter costs 3 times more. Meat is a luxury. Most people live on oatmeal, porridge for breakfast, oatcakes for lunch, if you're lucky, kale soup for dinner. And everyone drinks ale, because the water you already know. A skilled craftsman earns maybe £50 a year. A lawyer or doctor, 4 or 5 times that. And the nobility, they're not even playing the same game. The closes, those narrow alleyways between buildings, are damp, dark, and dangerous. Pickpockets work in teams. Muggings are common. After dark, you don't walk alone unless you're armed or foolish. Justice is fast and public. Executions happen right on the high street. Pillories, brandings, hangings. Sometimes your crime is theft. Sometimes it's being too loud, too angry, or an outspoken woman. Edinburgh doesn't just punish you, it makes sure everyone watches. By morning, the scaffies scrape the cobblestones clean. By noon, the filth is already back, and much of it flows downhill, into the Norloch, a stagnant lake at the foot of the castle. Today, it's Prince's Street Gardens. Above it all stands Edinburgh Castle, cannons pointed outward, soldiers pacing the walls. It's been only decades since Scotland was forced into union with England. The wounds are still fresh. Jacobites still whisper. The Crown still watches. This is hard power. Prisons, guns, authority. But down below, inside taverns hidden in the closes, something quieter is happening. Low ceilings, smoke-filled rooms, ale, arguments, ideas. David Hume is questioning reality itself. Adam Smith is rethinking money, labour, and value. The castle has the weapons. The taverns have the ideas. One controls the city, the other reshapes the world. This is Edinburgh in 1750, a city built on staircases and sewage, somehow producing ideas that define the modern world. Within a few decades, the city will try to escape itself. Wide streets, clean lines, light, the new town, an Enlightenment city, built to leave the old one behind. The streets are still here, the buildings still stand, the sewage is gone, mostly. The philosophers are statues now, the oysters are expensive. Progress is strange like that. So tell me, what city should we rebuild next? Ancient Rome, Victorian London, 1920s New York? Drop your vote in the comments. And if you learned something disturbing today, which you absolutely did, subscribe. Because history isn't just kings and dates. It's people trying to live their lives in impossible places, and somehow still building the modern world. See you in the past.